As you know, I've put a lot of limitations on this channel, on this account. We are very budget friendly here, and mostly because of my own limitations that I put on this on purpose in order to test whether Magic the Gathering can be free to play or is it pay to win. Well, we're here to learn that, but my economy is absolutely trashed, as you can see. Commons, uncommons, got tons of that stuff. Rares, mythics, not so much. So we are going to be using a lot of commons and a lot of uncommons. We're going to be building out a deck from basically scratch. This is a baseline Gruul aggro deck, and I'm going to add pieces to this over time, and if these videos do well, lots of likes, a decent amount of subscribers, mostly likes. If we get a lot of likes on this video, we will continue to upgrade this guy, and I've got some ideas on how to make this a pretty big deck, but we're not going to do it all at once. I'm going to upgrade one or two pieces at the end of every video, just to kind of slowly build up this deck. Why am I doing this? Well, you see a lot of small decks and then you see a lot of really big decks. You don't see many in between decks on Magic the Gathering arena content creators. They just don't do it. I've done it somewhat in the past, and I think it's a good way to move forward for a while. Why Gruul? Well, Gruul is infinitely fast, and it has infinitely strong cards. There are a lot of things to do with Gruul, even heading towards werewolves if we really wanted to, but we'll do a little bit of touch and go. A little bit of touch and go with this deck and progress it towards being a big man-eating competitive deck. What's this deck do? Well, it's very simple. We put creatures on the battlefield, we clear the room around us, or we hit them in the face for a couple of damage, and we just go for it. We just go to town, play a creature, swing, play another creature, swing. My favorite creatures in this deck, the Yavimaya Iconoclast. On the surface, doesn't look too intimidating. For 2, it's a 3/2, a little bit good. Has trample. Also has that kicker that gives it +1/+1 and haste until the end of turn. It's kind of like having a nice little bolt on your opponent and then being able to keep that around for the next turn. And definitely as a slightly smaller creature, a 3/2. But that's fine. That's a-okay. We are also using Spore Crawler to try to draw some cards. Jewel Thief, infinitely decent card. This has even made its way into some competitive decks. I remember seeing this a lot in the arena. I've used this card a lot. The 3/3 with Vigilance Trample, as well as creating that treasure token. It always has really good value. Twinshot Sniper is another card I've used in competitive Goblin decks, and it's done infinitely well. It deals 2 damage. It's kind of like having a Play with Fire that's a creature. It does cost 4, but it's a 2/3 with reach. So it has a lot of utility. It has a lot of versatility. You can also channel this and just deal 2 damage at any target if something's giving you problems, or you just need to get 2 damage off the face and you only have the 2 mana to spare. Alright, what else do I really like about this deck is 2 new cards actually. We have the Contagious Vorrac. When this enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card. From among them, put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom in any order. And he also proliferates, which probably isn't going to be the best for this deck, but we're not worried about that. He can get a proliferate on a creature if we cast a creature on the second chapter of Kumano faces Kakkazan. He can also proliferate, well, maybe this. If mana from a treasure was meant to activate, put a 1/1 counter on it instead. So if we get a 1/1 counter on Jetmir Fixer, then we can proliferate, and we can put another 1/1 counter on it, or even the Evolving Adaptive. So actually, this actually has a lot of utility with the proliferate as well. I only put this in here for one specific reason. You look at the top 4 cards of your library, you put a land from among them into your hand. The rest on the bottom in a random order. What this means is, especially playing an aggro deck, you don't want to be drawing lands later on in game. So if we could get them into the hand, that's a little bit better for us. It's a little bit slow, but it does get lands out of our library, and we want that very much so. Out of all the dual lands that are common, I think Razor Ring, especially for a deck like this, is probably best. Being able to pay for, sack it, and draw a card is highly useful, especially later on in the game and we don't have many ways to dump mana. And yeah, turn 4, turn 5 is probably pretty late in the game for this deck. Last but not least, out of the new cards, Evolving Adaptive. Enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it, and he gets +1/+1 for each oil counter on it. And then when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power or toughness, then Evolving Adaptive, put an oil counter on it. So he could get decently big. He's not going to get huge, but Iconoclast is going to have a lot of potential with this card. Especially if you're kicking it, you get this up to a 4/4. It's not terrible. It's not fantastic. It's not phenomenal. It's not going to blow your opponent out of the water, but it is very fast. Getting this up to a 4/4 as a 1-drop is pretty special. It is pretty good. And another card that I really like and put in here is Jetmir's Fixer. It gives +1/+1 till the end of turn if you pay a green and a red. A lot of these multicolor cards didn't really see a lot of play in Standard, hardly at all. There were a couple things that did. The one that comes to my mind is Rafine, but a lot of these cards didn't really make it very far in Standard. I still play with them on occasion because they're in Standard. We're going to use what we have, and I mean, as said, this is a very strict budget account, and we have a very strict budget. Therefore, we use things that we already have as much as we possibly can. Yep, that's the deck. It's meant to go fast. It's meant to clear the board with the lightning strikes, with the play with fires, maybe hit him in the face with it. Kakkazan hits him in the face, and then becomes a creature later on and gets an extra 1/1 counter to something. Really good 1-drop. That's all we're doing. We're trying to jump in there. We're trying to hit them fast and heavy and hard. We're going to talk about upgrades after the matches, and we're just going to upgrade 1 or 2 cards at a time until this deck is a big beefy boy. So, thank you for joining. Make sure you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel. We continue to do budget material and and how to build up a budget account. That's really what this channel is all about. And we'll talk about that and also what to upgrade in this particular deck after the matches. See you soon. All right, we actually got both colors of land. We got an adaptive. We got a Kumano faces Kakkazan. I mean, this is everything a growing boy needs right here. I think we go adaptive here. Adaptive, probably a little bit stronger of a move than Kumano faces Kakkazan. Though we do want to get that Kumano out as fast as possible. 2 lightning strikes is fantastic. Or did I lie? Yeah, we're going to swing. And we're going to go with Kumano faces Kakkazan. Mostly because it makes the Jetmir Fixer a little bit bigger for the next turn after that. We could also put out the Spore Crawler with an extra 1/1 on him. Loam Speaker kind of holds back that. And we're not going to get stuck on mana again, are we? That would be highly, highly frustrating. We do want to get this 1/1 counter out there, though. And we'll hold back. Even though we are aggro, we're not making dumb swings. Children. Lovely stuff. Draw. Mana. Okay. It exiles. It comes out. We swing. See if we can get a block out of this Shelly. We do not, so we follow up with a Jeweled Thief. That gets the Evolving Adaptive up a little bit more, creates a treasure. Now our land's fine, unlike the first match. Glisa Sunslayer. Interesting stuff. And another Loam Speaker. So this is just a kind of deck that we did not want to face. Especially since we have all rares and mythics on the opponent's side. Yeah, we're going to have to take that damage. We're going to have to swing. Etchings of Kumano being blocked here. And the adaptive being blocked. So, we're getting 6 damage off. That's fine. Answering with a Spore Crawler. And I'm thinking about play with fire to the face, but we'll do that on the opponent's turn. Maybe we are holding up and lightning striking the Sun Slayer, as it seems. Comes in for 3. Draw a card. Nah. We'll make him kill it. We're going to go down to 13 and then probably to 12. After we take the damage from drawing the card with Shieldred. Now we have to start getting damage off the face, it looks like. Right here. Go ahead and tap the treasure. That's exactly what we wanted. We untap. We play the land. Let's count here. He has 4 blockers. Does he block with everything, though? I would highly recommend him blocking all 4. There's 2 blocks. And that's it. Okay, we won. There it is. Whew. And that's one reason we want to play Gruul as well, especially on a very strict budget, because my god, can you actually face decks with much higher power level than you have. Much higher. We saw Shieldreds, we see Glisa, we see the the Loam Speakers, right? The only not rare card that we saw was the Armored Scrap Gorger, and we seem to do just fine in that matchup. Jetmir Fixer, Sniper, Thief, not my favorite hand, but we do have plays at turn 2, so it's a keep. Start getting some damage off with the Jetmir Fixer, fix land with the Jewel Thief, and into Twinshot Sniper. Nice little curve we're seeing. Mishra's Foundry and a Plains, maybe playing a slower deck here. One could only hope. Fable. Yeah, and we're swinging for sure. Let's go. Jewel Thief comes out. Nice little follow-up. Makes it to where the Goblin doesn't get a good attack here. And we get to chase him on mana here, too. A couple of good things about that. That's why Jewel Thief is such a good budget card. It's a common, too. Unless he lightning strikes it out of existence, like so. Coming in for 2. And we get the Racer's Ring here. Couple of things. We could pump the Fixer, but I think we need field presence. Especially if he's willing to lightning strike my dudes. Spore Crawler. An Abrade. Interesting. Okay. It was 3 damage, so we couldn't have evaded it by pumping the Fixer. But we can still play the Fixer. Alright, next turn we Sniper, kill the Reflections of Kiki-Jiki so we can't make copies of other creatures. Yeah, sure, the Gabo can give us some trouble. Or do we Iconoclast here? Let's Iconoclast. Swing in. Hot and Furious. Is he going to charge up the Mishra's Foundry? He glanced at it. He thought about it. But like a good old boy, like a chump, he's taking it. Yeah, that's what we like to see around here. Opponent being afraid to block. There's a copy. There's a swing. A little bit afraid of like over the top or something like that. If you want my honest opinion. He's got rares. He's mostly running rares. Or Brotherhood's End. That does wipe his board as well. And we got a couple of nice little plays we could do. This gets off 2 damage. I'm at the full cast that. Wait, I think I got it anyway because that's 2. That puts him down to 5. This puts him down to 3 and then lightning strike to the face. That's game. That is game. Very lucky on the draws though. Lightning strikes, play with fire. Gruul does damage to the face. We have fatal. So I think he just ran off. Yeah, we're just going to do this. And then we're going to do this. And take him out. Takes him out. Wipe my board. But like a honey badger, we don't care about that around here. Good mana base. I can say the mana base on this one is perfect. Usually we're fighting for lands, but it doesn't look like we're going to be doing that this time at all. Iconoclast probably comes out next turn. Yeah. Or do we Adaptive Wild and the next turn Iconoclast bigger and better? Swing. Second Adaptive. He does have swamps, so we're looking at some removal. He does have fancy swamps, so we're looking at a bunch of rares. There's a cut down. What about your second cut down? Okay, he doesn't have it. It doesn't seem like. Come on in. There we go. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. And again, lightning strike and play with fire in the hand. So hand's good. Spore Crawler as well. It allows us to draw another card. Graveyard Trespasser is quite spicy. But is it spicy enough? Spore Crawler can come in here. We get another 1/1. Do you want to trade your Graveyard Trespasser away? Do you want to trade your rare for a couple of commons? I guess he does. Down to 11. We are almost there. Here comes Sheoldred. See? That's just what Mono Black does, guys. Racer. Swing. We don't want him gaining life, so we do this. Puts him down to 8. Throw an Adaptive out. All about pacing. All about pacing. Here comes backup Sheoldred. Right? Nope, go for Throat. Leaves the Spore Crawler alone, though. Come on in. There's another go for Throat. Totally fine. I get to draw a card off of this. We get another Lightning Strike. And we'll go ahead and end turn right here. We still need to do 1 more damage to him before we just do Lightning Strike, Lightning Strike. And Liliana of the Veil. That
enough with
hurts.
The mysteries. I've come for answers.
We're going to be top decking, it looks like.
We all have things we'd rather.
Yep, looks like we're discarding a Lightning Strike. There are still ways to win right here and right now. Nothing, huh? Here. Bottom. Here. You are 2 damage away from death. Next turn we flip. Uh-oh. That's going to slow us down. That will slow us down. Jewel Thief doesn't do it. This does not do the win. It is a shame. So, opponent will continuously get further and further ahead at this point. That's the one downfall to playing any kind of, any kind of aggro, kind of burn, kind of creature spam deck is, it's always a potential that it doesn't quite work. We got him down to 2. And this is just where the opponent starts to get further and further away. I just want to see what the next card is. Spore. That's going to be a scoop, guys. We finally lost one. Okay, I can keep that. Start with that tapped land, come out with mountain. We could probably Kumano faces Kakkazan. Next turn we Iconoclast, make it big. Or we Jewel Thief. Let's Jewel Thief instead. Because turn 4 we can Sniper the Shigeki. Okay, bite down. That gets a card out of his hand, I guess. Not the way we want to play this. Oh, and now he's too big for the Sniper. But we can Lightning Strike this. Yep, it kills it. And then Iconoclast pay that treasure. So the Thief actually did his job there. And now we get in hot and heavy. Oddity. Fair enough. Swing. Nothing. Let's count here. If... Oh yeah, we're going to Sniper anyway. Get him on the field. Go for the face. And next turn we Iconoclast, pump him. Yeah, that's very dangerous. That's very big. But it's not fast enough. Pop it down. Iconoclast. Now he takes 5, 6, 7. That's it. Yeah, he's just burning a card there. And Kumano faces Kakkazan. Because he does gain a couple life with the Tamiyo safekeeping. So we had to Kumano faces Kakkazan to finish him off. You just have to have the things you need. Okay, this is the last guy before we go into a post game, and we're going to talk about upgrades. And we're going to start with the adaptive. The reason why this is probably going to be the last match is because we have a pretty good hand here. We have a pretty good hand. So hopefully this kind of shows what we want to be doing with this deck. I think we actually play with fire here. Mostly because it gets damage off this turn. We want to be dealing damage as often as possible. We get the Ambassador, which is very good indeed. Coming in with this, coming in with this. I put the 1/1 counter on our adaptive, and we probably actually hold back here. One of the few times you'll ever see me hold back with a Gruul aggro build. Okay. He shuts off my adaptive, and maybe we're playing it again. Maybe we're doing something like this. Swing. He lets it through. Now we go adaptive. We go Jewel Thief. We start to build out our board state a little bit. This Ambassador is a little bit annoying, but now I think we're above it. We're not above an Adeline, though. We can block the damage. Probably a bad move by the opponent there. come out with the Iconoclast and swing. What we're wanting to really do here is kill that Adeline. And we could do that right now. Yep, deal 2 damage to this. Auto pay. Gets him down to 7. Clears his side of the board. But our side of the board is not looking too healthy. And we're way behind on cards. There is the Vindicator. Wow. Alright, that much damage to any other target. Right. If I drop this first, we create the treasure. Now, we Iconoclast. And then we swing. He's going to be able to kill 2 creatures here. So he blocks this. He deals, what? 4 damage to the adaptive here. Yep. But we are either one swing with both Jewel Thieves, or a play with fire, or a lightning strike away from a victory here. Didn't expect to face all rares. Well, Adeline's a rare, and so is the Phyrexian Vindicator. Ossification basically beats me. Unless he swings. Aha! Hello. Alright. Alright. Let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. We said we were going to talk about upgrades, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. First off, Jetmir Fixer, not the best match up. It's not best in this deck. A lot of these dual color creatures don't really do great at all. And it proved that it wasn't going to do too much too fast. And the only question is, what do we replace it with? Maybe something like a Feldon would be really good. A Feldon would definitely be able to get in there, get cards exiled when it dies, which it inevitably will at some point get blocked, and it has haste. It's also a 2-drop. He looks a lot better than this Jetmir Fixer, but maybe we're only going with 3 copies of it, just because it is a legendary creature. And what else do we want in here? Lightning strikes, we already have those. So we're not going to deal with those, but I will put the more fancy ones in here. Yeah. All right. We're looking for at least one more card to kind of upgrade here. Sure Strike would be pretty good, but we actually want something that has trample, right? So let's jump over here and look for trample. Ancestral Anger is okay, but it is a sorcery. It would be really nice to have an instant with trample. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to do this. First Strike and Trample. Whirling Strike. It's also a way, and I've noticed a lot in that matchup, that we didn't have enough power to push the opponent over. I'd like to play with fire because, you know, you get to deal damage directly to the opponent and you get to scry one. I think that's super powerful. Maybe this is replacing the Twinshot Sniper. Getting some of these dudes in here, getting hot and heavy. We are definitely wanting to do more creatures, though, because we have the Whirling Strikes. We have the Play with Fires. We have the Kumano faces Kakkazan. We're still pretty heavy on the creatures, which is good. This just gives them a little bit more power to push them over. Push over the creatures especially, and keep our creatures on the field with that First Strike. I think that that's going to be really good. But we added 3 rares, and we actually changed some things around with the deck to put the Whirling Strikes in here instead of the, what was it? Oh yeah, the Goblin. Pulled him out. And the last thing I would do is upgrade these lands. And this is a way of only putting 6 kind of rares in here to start with. Maybe that's for the best that we slowly upgrade these decks, and I would highly recommend slowly upgrading decks. You don't have to come out with the big bad boy right away. And we're definitely going to go with, I would put these guys in this deck because you want it to be fast. 2 of these and then 2 of these. Right, I'm going to link this one in the description below, as well as the budget rendition of it. I'm not going to craft it. Remember, we have a budget account. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. But just slowly upgrading this stuff makes it stronger overall. This keeps our mana costs down, and it has actually made this deck a lot cheaper. Just these few changes, and I know you're going to be able to pull more wins with a Feldon here than a Jetmir. Right? It's easily going to happen because you get to exile things from the top of your library and play them until the end of your next turn. If you get lightning strikes, if you get play with fires, you might be able to finish off something with the Feldon. Yeah, it's a lot better this way. Though it does make the adaptive a little bit weaker. Maybe our next upgrade is finding something to make this guy a little bit stronger. Maybe something big, like a Mariner or something like that. But we want something big on the field. This, though, I think is okay, except I do want to do one more thing before we log off. Vorrac, kind of not where we want to be. I wanted to try him out. I wanted to play with him. But you can't beat Helena and Elena. If you're having trouble getting over your opponent, Helena and Elena are going to be paramount to you actually being able to get damage off on your opponent. Like, this card is fantastic. Think about making a Jewel Thief bigger and bigger and bigger, or even a Iconoclast bigger and bigger and bigger with that trample, or hear me out, Feldon, where he's just an unkillable guy, and you're going to chump block him eventually, and you're exiling cards and playing them and this and that. Helena and Elena get us to a point where that is very dangerous. It's very dangerous to leave any creature on the field with Helena and Elena, and she has First Strike and Reach, so she's no slouch in and of herself. And you can even pump her if you want to get some damage off on your opponent and surprise them. But mostly a blocker, mostly something that pumps your other things up. And this deck right here, I think, is a nice start to having an actual really good deck here. And if you've noticed, right, it wasn't that expensive to kind of get to this point. There are more upgrades to do on this deck. So if we get a lot of likes on this video, I will continue to pump this deck. I'm thinking maybe 20 likes on the video. Small channel. 20 likes sounds pretty reasonable. Sounds like a good target. Sounds like a good goal. And that video will start with this deck and then move into something a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for spending some time with me here today on the arena. If you like the video, make sure you like it. And remember, 20 likes or more on this video, and we will bring this deck into the arena. And then we'll upgrade this deck to something even more powerful. I'm out of words for today, so sayonara. See you later. Take care. Bye.